Hi, my name is Travis Dodd, and I'm running for Owen Sound City Councillor. Great question. For me personally, I would say it's my positive mindset, and I'm going to probably sneak this one in here and just say my dedication to the city as well. One of the big things that I ever had when I was away at university or outside of Owen Sound, I always knew that Owen Sound was my home. I was always passionate about Owen Sound and what the opportunities that could be in the future. And that really resonated again when I was a member of council. I believed in the city. Still believe in the city. I believe in the opportunities that are going to happen in the future. And I think that's one of the best mindsets that I could have was this is a city that is thriving. It has so much potential. And the more positive we are about the beautiful city and the great city that we live in, it's just going to showcase that more and more to both our own residents and tourists. So that's one thing for me. I think one of my biggest characteristics, I would say, is always staying in a positive mindset, being happy, and being dedicated to the city that I love. Also a great question. One thing that I have been doing recently as a member of council became a co-organizer of the Young Professionals Network here, hosted through the Grey County. Young Professionals Network, if you're unfamiliar with it, is a networking opportunity for young professionals 40-ish and under that have the opportunity to network with other like-minded youth in a setting that is pretty welcoming. So we've had quite good success with this. We've had 2 events currently already in the past, and we're hosting our 3rd coming up in November. And we've been able to get individuals from, accountants, doctors, small business owners, everyone, a wide variety of individuals that are here networking and trying to connect within in the community. The great thing about this is that when we do our statistics, it's been found out that most of these individuals actually aren't from our region. They're ones that have moved here, and they moved here for a job opportunity. So the real creation of what the Young Professionals Network was how do we get these individuals that moved to Owen Sound or moved to Hanover, how do we get them to place their roots in the city? Do we get them to create a relationship, build a business relationship? Or they have an interest in soccer, in sports or outdoors? And more likely that once they have a good foundation, a group around them, they're more likely to stay put and raise their families or continue their lives here in the city of Owen Sound and Grey County. So for me, I would say that is probably in the recent parts, this has been one of the bigger building initiatives that I've been a part of. Great, thank you. I would say this corresponds really well with my previous answer about the Young Professionals Network. That is a stepping stone of how to kind of showcasing our success stories. But I think that's what we need to do more of. When we look at younger individuals that are going to come to a community, they're not just looking about it as just taking a job and what it is. You can get a good job in Toronto, but what do we offer? So that's we offer good quality of life. We do offer more affordable housing than it is in one of those centers. There's always work to need to be done on affordable housing, but in comparison to some of those sectors for younger individuals, if they're ready to start a family, Owen Sound is a little bit more of a likelier place that they'd might be able to afford something. So I think that's one of the things. When we're talking about young people who will stay here for future generations, we need to make some connections with them within the community. So we do the Are You the Most campaign, which we have seen some individuals come up to the city of Owen Sound from surrounding areas and have started their families here and started their businesses here. So projects like that and initiatives like that, as well as we need to take a big stand in showcasing our success stories, both our residents and businesses, and showing why Owen Sound is the greatest place in Ontario and why it's the place where you want to live. The Owen Sound Harbor is a huge asset. It could be a huge asset for the city of Owen Sound. We all know that there are some liability concerns with some of the things that are going on in the harbor. But I think what needs to go further than that is we need to continue working with the federal government on seeing how we can properly and efficiently take over or look into seeing how we can clean up that harbor to make it a safe area for our residents and tourism. The big thing that we actually have more control over opposed to the actual harbor is the surrounding harbor lands. Now, these lands are mostly privately held by third-party individuals. So what can we do to help entice them to build or create an option there to beautify our harborfront? It's currently in our community improvement plan. We do have a brownfield incentive, which allows individuals who have some sort of environmental questionable lands to start doing some pollution and remediation and to help get that back on track. So I'd like to take a look at that CIP, if that is comparable to other municipalities, and if it isn't, how we can revive that and help kind of give more incentive to some of these businesses or some of these landowners surrounding our harbor front to kind of get that moving forward. Because as we all know, the harbor is a beautiful place. It could be even better when we get some things moving and get a lot more foot traffic down there, because it really is a beautiful and spectacular place. So maybe take a look at some of the surrounding areas at other port cities, Collingwood, and other regions, and kind of take a look at what they have done and what their successes were, and what we can see if we can replicate that here. The opioid crisis, unfortunately, just doesn't stop at the boundaries of Owen Sound. To work through this unfortunate reality, we need to collaborate and partner with experts at a regional level. I'd like to see Owen Sound have the responsibility to support our public health professionals, local educators, police service, and our other stakeholders. We can also help by continuing to advocate the need for programs and funding from the province to assist with addictions, and work with our local police force to help keep some of these scary drugs off the street. But ultimately, I say with just any issue that's going on in the city, whether it's in our purview or not, we can do some advocating to the province and to our upper levels of government to try to find something, a solution to help mediate that process. We do know that social services and some of that stuff is coming from higher levels, but we would like to obviously help any resident that's facing those issues as well. Public feedback is vital in a community. I think we can see that across any municipality. Any city council is there for the people. They're there to provide the services and the policies set out in front of them on basis of what the long-term plan is that the resident would like to have in the community. So public meetings and that kind of public engagement is obviously essential for that to be to move forward. When we first looked at downsizing some of the committees, it was because, to be honest, we actually had a lack of number of individuals applying to join committees. We were in a situation where we couldn't have people fill these positions. But the one thing I would like to look into, and I'd love to see it happen in our community, is something that they're doing in London with the London Youth Council. This is a demographic of the population that we do not really hear from in Owen Sound, and it's a demographic that is vitally important to this city. The London Youth Council is a non-profit organization that is run very similar to how a municipal campaign is done. There's individuals from the age of 12 up to the ages of 21, I believe, where they kind of run and then they become a member of this board, and they run through issues that they're facing from a different perspective that's not normally seen at municipal council. And it's a way to have an inclusive side of municipal politics. Sometimes municipal politicians and the way the system works, sometimes we're not that collaborative with the groups around us, and I'd like to see that with the young individuals within our community. I think it's an opportunity to see some of the issues that they're being faced with and how we can work with them, not to try to put policies down for them. So the more you hear from younger individuals about the issues that are facing them, the more we could create some sort of policies to work in favor of that, something more than we have currently.